And then you said that Achilles Priester's kit was a village. Yeah. And that's his small kit.
That's his small kit.
That's not even
kit, right.
Yeah. That's his bebop kit.
This is jazz kit, yeah.
Drumeo Carol.
I mean, what would you say to that person if they're saying, Dom, I'm not so sure about this drumming thing. I'm not picking up on these rudiments fast enough. Maybe my hands aren't coming together quick enough. I can't get in a band. Or what would you say to that person to push them to continue drumming?
I get that, and I got that at this festival too. So people that came by and saw these great players play and just said, I don't know whether I should go home to practice or just go home and burn my kit.
Oh.
Interesting. So I said, think about what you just experienced. You were in the presence of greatness. The object for me is not to be as great as Steve Smith or Jojo Mayer or Tommy Igoe or Chris Coleman or Cindy Blackman or Robert Sputz, Seabright. These guys are phenomenal players. Achilles Priester. These guys are phenomenal players.
Yeah.
I just have to try and be the best I can be. Not every person that wants to be a painter is going to be Michelangelo or Da Vinci.
Right.
So let's just find out what I can do in my lifetime. And if I can bring joy through my craft, even just playing for my family, and my parents smile when they see me playing with a little band or just playing, to some records at home. Mm-hmm. If that brings my parents joy or my family joy, you've already succeeded.
Yeah.
If we can go a little further than that, that's where the journey is.
Right.
On how we can push ourselves to see what in our lifetime we could do. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. Are there obstacles? Absolutely. And I say when you get to that wall and you hit that obstacle, you have a choice. You can either dig under it, you can go around it, you can climb over it, you can break through it, or you can turn and try a different path and go down a different avenue where there's no brick wall. So you really have options. We have to just believe in ourselves enough that we can say, I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah, because every single person, I interviewed most of them, and they're all fantastic musicians, as we all know. They weren't always, like there was a time when they were being taught and at the very beginning in their foundations, right?
Absolutely.
So here's my question. I like this analogy a lot, and that is mountain climbing. So you have base camps to acclimate, obviously, to the
The
atmosphere
altitude of what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
You can't just get there and start climbing to the summit, right? You have to work in pieces and steps. In your opinion, do you think that people look too much to the summit and not to base camp 1, 2, 3,
Absolutely.
4?
Absolutely. They're so worried about the peak. To me, I have never worried about a peak in my life. I'm too excited of the journey that at base 1, I'm going to meet some people that also made it to base 1.
Right.
And we're going to share that experience.
Uh-huh.
And if I never get to base 2 or base 5 or to the peak, I made it to base 1. And if I don't even make it to base 1, I at least started the process of attempting to get to base 1. Even there's positivity in that.
Right.
So we have to kind of not knock ourselves down hard enough and be too judgmental on who we are.
Right.
And enjoy these little steps in life that allow us to meet different people, experience different beauty, see the side of a mountain and experience a sunrise or a sunset, and just take that moment. I love living in the now and in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's really where I live all the time. My next book I'm working on is called Owning Now, about owning the moment. And if people can live more and own that moment, we're not going to worry about the peak. We're going to worry about just that moment. And if we find magic in that moment, and I say that because we only own now. I don't own tomorrow. Hell, I don't even own later. I don't know what can happen. I might walk down here to go out to dinner with the guys at Drumeo and have a massive heart attack in the street. I don't know. I don't wish that, but I have to live my life quality that if this was my last moment in this room with you, allowing my voice to be captured that people can see and or hear what I'm saying, when I walk out of here, if I'm laying in the middle of the street and a car hits me and I've got a second, I go, I pushed this right to the end.
Yeah.
That is a qualified life.
Absolutely.
Of value and of love and of energy and of effort. And if we can at least have that, then I think we're going to get along pretty well.
Yeah. Now, can you discern the difference, though, between someone who's passionate and is just kind of scrambled in terms of their expectations, like that summit thing? Can you discern the difference between someone who's really meant to drum and who isn't?
Yes, and you can sense that. First of all, if a person comes to a lesson, they're obviously driven by something. Mm-hmm. They may not know exactly why. They heard a song, they heard some music, they saw someone play the drums, and they want to kind of look into what drumming is about. My job as a farmer is to plant that seed and water it and allow that passion to become more obvious to that person.
Right.
So they begin to grow roots into that passion, and then they start to get it.
Yeah, that's right.
And once they get where it's at and they really understand the accomplishment of playing the drums and playing a groove and feeling the reward of that, all I did was another root went down a little deeper, and they're getting more water, and the more water they get, the more the next roots, and we just keep on going from passion to passion, from desire to desire, and we help them to guide them along the way. I always say I want to stand on life's edge and jump with them to leap into this unknown of what passion is giving us, and we're gonna fly together. We're gonna go in this path that in years to come we're gonna look back at each other. And I've got students that are now with me for several years that are completely different people than who they were when they first walked in a couple of years ago. Wow. And they are more intensified, they are more passionate, they are more loving people, they are happier, I see this beautiful flower that came into me that was a little bud that wasn't opened up yet. Man, this is a high that is just so incredible that when I'm gone, as long as all of my students are involved with music, I am part of their life. Someone hearing this podcast, as long as they can feel the value of each word that is delivered, I will be inside of them as an influence, and hopefully a positive influence that are going to push them further, that someday I'm going to meet them along the way, and they're going to come by and say, man, I heard you on Seamus's podcast. This was incredible, the Drumeo thing. And what you said really, really reached me. I've had probably 10 to 15 people at this Drumeo festival say to me, Dom, I heard you many years ago, and something you said really hit me, and something that you did. And it was amazing that, and some of the people were 20, 30 years ago, and they still retained. And I was like, I was just so thankful. And they said, no, I want to thank you. And I said, not really, I want to thank you. I said, because, we use steel to sharpen steel, but it is man that sharpens man. That to me is where the value is.
Wow. That's incredible stuff.